Breaking news as we come on the air. Dangerous storms firing up after monster twisters plow through the heartland. Millions on alert right now. Violent tornadoes ripping across Oklahoma, including an EF4. This one charging through an Air Force base. The rare twin twisters swirling around one another. Homes reduced to rubble. This woman recounting the moment she hid as the twister plowed through her living room. Plus devastating wildfires spreading across the South. More than 100 homes destroyed. We're tracking it all. Also tonight, round 2, U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner heading to Pakistan to restart talks with Iran's foreign minister. The offer President Trump says the Iranian regime is making. The stunning arrest and disturbing discovery. 2 doctoral students vanishing. Now one of their bodies was recovered. His roommate arrested in connection to the case. Dive team searching for the missing female student. Running out of water, the American city where officials say a worst-case scenario is unfolding and the reservoirs could soon dry up. The airline accused of using your personal data to sneakily raise fares, how the company is responding. Our series, Great Americans, in honor of the nation's 250th anniversary. We're highlighting those who bring this country together. Tonight, my sit-down with the all-time great tennis legend, Billie Jean King, her incredible career and relentless pursuit of equality in women's sports. Plus, the university flipping the script on AI and acting, why USC is embracing the tech behind so much drama. Top story starts right now. Good evening. As we come on the air tonight, violent storms on the move after that dangerous tornado outbreak. More than a dozen twisters ripping through the Midwest. And the warning now, this isn't even the worst of it. It's video you have to see to believe this massive tornado touching down in Enid, Oklahoma. Violent, fast-moving, and incredibly dangerous. Preliminary reports rating this tornado as an EF4 with winds that could have hit up to 200 miles per hour. This angle shows the huge swirling clouds lightning and crackling through the middle. At one point, storm chasers, you see it just behind me here, capturing what you see right there, twin tornadoes. You can see the smaller one sort of swirling around the larger funnel cloud. More than 18 twisters reported across the Midwest. And look at this time-lapse video showing that enormous storm cell as it moved through all the way through Enid. This view from a plane flying overhead shows the sheer size of these storms, that lightning exploding through the dark clouds. And then daylight, revealing the scope of the devastation. Houses reduced to rubble, cars turned into warped metal, entire neighborhoods leveled. Remarkably, everyone survived. Severe storms coming as the South battles those massive wildfires. At least 120 homes now destroyed. Crews in Georgia working day and night to contain these flames. Our Bill Cairns is standing by to track out these serious threats. We want to begin tonight with NBC's Ryan Chandler on the ground for us in hard-hit Enid, Oklahoma.
A dangerous tornado outbreak spanning at least 3 states overnight.
Dude, look at this. Look at this.
At least 18 twisters reported in Iowa, Kansas, and Oklahoma.
There are homes completely gone. Oh my gosh. Look at them dancing.
Storm chasers capturing this double twister before the smaller one gets swallowed up. And look at this video from a plane showing all this lightning. Vance Air Force Base also in the tornado's path near the city of Enid. This neighborhood took a direct hit. Nearly every home is unrecognizable. You can really get a sense for the sheer power of this storm. Cars mangled and thrown as neighbors come here together tonight, grateful that despite the severity of the damage, everybody is okay.
We were able to salvage a lot of stuff.
Maddie Boyd was home when the tornado rolled through. This is the living room.
Yeah, this is our living room over here. As you can see, couches, chairs, our TV should be up there. It's gone. Our roof is completely caved in.
She says her family rode out the tornado in a cement room beneath their home. And it's a miracle they're all alive.
The only thing I ever know how to do in situations like that is pray. And I was just yelling, asking, hey, if you take everything, just let us keep our family. Let us keep our neighbors. Just keep everyone safe, please.
In the South, fire danger still very real. Crews fighting flames from the air and on the ground in Georgia. More than 120 homes destroyed in that state. Nearly 1,000 more in harm's way.
Just seeing that I have nothing. I don't know, it just crushed me.
Back in Oklahoma, people still can't believe the scope of this damage.
I've seen tornadoes before, but I've never seen anything come through Enid like this.
And with that, Ryan joins us now live from Enid. And Ryan, we see that destruction all around you. I know you and your team drove overnight to get to the storm zone. How dangerous was this twister and what were you seeing?
Well, Tom, the National Weather Service is surveying all of the damage like this, and they say they now see indications of an EF4, which means this tornado could have brought wind speeds up to 200 miles per hour. And, Tom, we're not through the risk yet. There are new tornado warnings and thunderstorm warnings through Oklahoma tonight. Tom.
All right, with that, let's get right to NBC meteorologist Bill Cairns. Bill, this is an incredibly dangerous situation. The threat is far from over.
Yeah, we don't expect a violent tornado. That's what we had in Enid. But we still have a chance of isolated tornadoes that could easily do significant damage. The tornado watch does include a chunk of Texas, Oklahoma, and also Arkansas. We've already had one confirmed tornado. That was a little bit earlier. You can see the icon right here. And we're going to continue to watch these storms pushing towards Arkansas as we go throughout the next couple hours. This storm by Kiowa, that's where the tornado was reported. It no longer has a tornado warning with it, but everyone in the Clayton area, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning. You're going to get some very large hail, and we still could see a tornado develop really at any time on the southern portion of that. These storms later tonight travel into areas of northern Arkansas and then overnight into Mississippi. So don't be surprised if you get some warnings on your phone in the middle of the night. And then tomorrow we do it all over again. This is a multi-day severe weather outbreak. We're going to shift northwards each and every day. So as we go through tomorrow, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, into Wichita. Then by the time we get to Sunday, we shift a little further north, including Kansas City, once again Wichita. And then by the time we get to Monday, we're going to watch the severe weather threat all the way back up into areas like Chicago, St. Louis, and Monday could even be a tornado outbreak. So again, we're still dealing with those fires too in Georgia. We're going to get a little bit of rain in the southeast, but not enough to help the firefighters this weekend as that drought, still no answers for that.
Yeah. Okay. Bill Cairns, we thank you for that. We know it's going to be a busy weekend into Monday. We want to head overseas now. Lots of developments there. There's renewed hope for peace in the Middle East, and here's why. The Iranian foreign minister arriving in Pakistan, as the White House says Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner are headed back there soon for talks. NBC's Keir Simmons is there tonight.
Tonight, Iran's new move amid tight security here in Pakistan. The Iranian foreign minister arriving to restart talks. President Trump's envoy, Steve Witkoff, and son-in-law, Jared Kushner, also traveling here soon, the White House says.
Look, the Iranians reached out, as the president called on them to do, and asked for this in-person conversation.
In an interview tonight, President Trump says the Iranian regime is making an offer and will have to see, while Iran says the foreign minister will speak to Pakistani officials and no meeting is scheduled with the U.S. The abrupt shift by Iran to return to Pakistan comes as the Iranian regime is facing growing economic pressure from the U.S. blockade of Iran's ports. Iran losing an estimated $435 million in oil revenue per day, according to the Trump administration.
Iran will never get a nuclear bomb. The choice is theirs, but with this blockade, the clock is not on their side.
34 ships have been turned around by U.S. forces, CENTCOM says, and posting, for the first time in decades, 3 aircraft carriers are operating in the Middle East at the same time. President Trump saying without the ability to sell its oil, Iran will soon run out of space to store it.
You know who's under time pressure? They are. Because if they don't get their oil moving, their whole oil infrastructure is going to explode.
All right, with that, Keir Simmons joins us tonight from Pakistan. Keir, right now, Vice President J.D. Vance isn't part of that delegation the U.S. is sending?
That's right, and neither is the man who was the lead negotiator for Iran, Mohammad Ghalibaf. He's the Speaker of the Parliament in Iran. There were reports this week, Tom, that he had stepped back from the delegation negotiating with the Americans. And again, here tonight in Islamabad, he is not here. And as you say, meanwhile, the Vice President, J.D. Vance, is not here. He's on standby in case there is progress. It may also be, Tom, that the U.S. hasn't sent him because the Iranians haven't sent their lead negotiator. Is it possible still, though, that the Iranians are coming here with some kind of an offer in response to the demands of the Trump administration? If there are face-to-face talks, Tom, clearly they will be tentative, but maybe there'll be a start. Tom?
Keir, I have a feeling you're going to be covering this for days, if not weeks, to come out there in Pakistan. Keir, we thank you for that. Back here at home to a major reversal at the Department of Justice, announcing it's dropping its criminal probe of outgoing Fed Chair Jerome Powell. President Trump saying just days ago the investigation should not be closed. Here's Ryan Nobles.
Tonight, a major victory for outgoing Fed Chair Jerome Powell. The Justice Department ending its criminal probe of the chairman following growing pressure from a top Republican senator. I have directed my office to close our investigation, U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro posting, all just days after President Trump insisted the investigation could continue.
So you're not going to drop the probe?
Oh, I'm not playing. I have to find out.
But the president had run into a roadblock when he nominated a new Fed chair, Kevin Warsh, to replace Powell, whose term ends May 15th. Republican Senator Tom Tillis vowed to block Warsh's nomination until the DOJ investigation of Powell was dropped.
Let's get Warsh in there. Let's get Chair Powell comfortable with actually exiting at some point, not to 2028, and do that by eliminating a bogus investigation that started this whole drama.
Tonight, Tillis yet to respond to the Justice Department's decision. Powell has faced withering criticism from President Trump for months for not lowering interest rates.
He's been wrong. That's why I call him too late. He's too late.
And the Justice Department opened an investigation into Powell's role in massive cost overruns at the Fed's renovation of 2 Fed buildings. At one point, the president and Powell touring the site.
Well, I'd love him to lower interest rates. Other than that, what can I tell you?
But a federal judge recently dealt a blow to the DOJ probe, ruling there was essentially zero evidence of criminal wrongdoing by Powell. Tonight, Pirro saying the Fed's inspector general will scrutinize the building costs overruns.
All right, Ryan Noble's here in studio. So, Ryan, another headline we're tracking. The Trump administration wants to bring back firing squads?
Yeah, that's right, Tom. You'll remember that during the Biden administration, they put a moratorium on all federal executions. So they basically banned them going forward. The new Trump administration has come in and said that they would like to reintroduce executions at the federal level, basically lift that ban. And they also are suggesting that part of this program would involve firing squads. And firing squads have not been used in the United States in the modern era to execute criminals. They've only primarily used lethal injections to execute people convicted of capital crimes. The Department of Justice says that process takes way too long. They're trying to streamline that process. That's why they're considering bringing back firing squads, something that really is an ancient use of executing.
And speaking of the ancient use, I don't know if you know the answer to this yet, but do they want to bring it back in its classical sense? I mean, several gunmen firing at a single convicted prisoner?
So they haven't completely outlined what the program would look like, but that is essentially what it is. There's not another way to do it other than the way that it's been done in the past. So it's right now a system where they're just in the process of implementing it. It's not clear how soon it could happen. There are a number of people on death row, so it is something that could be used in the very near future.
Okay, Ryan Nobles again. Good to see you here in New York. Now to the urgent search we've been watching for 2 grad students who vanished in Tampa. Tonight, police say they've discovered one of the students' bodies and have arrested his roommate. Jesse Kirsch has the moment he was taken into custody.
This is the moment police say Hisham Abu Garbia surrendered. The 26-year-old wearing a towel, his hands in the air, as he approaches heavily armed officers.
Right now, we don't have any inclination to think that he was working with anybody else.
Investigators say they arrested the suspect roughly 15 miles from this bridge, where his roommate's body was discovered this morning. That roommate, Jamil Limon, had been missing more than a week, along with his friend Nahida Bristi, who is still nowhere to be found. Dive teams searching for her.
And I implore the community, if you have any tips of where you've seen her or she's just recently seen, please report it.
Investigators say the 27-year-olds were both Bangladeshi doctoral students at the University of South Florida.
My whole family is devastated.
Before today's developments, Bristi's brother telling me she spoke with her parents the day she disappeared.
Her belongings were in the university lab, like her laptop, iPad, and lunchbox and all that. Only the purse and phone was missing from that.
Police say they had spoken with the suspect as recently as yesterday, but did not arrest him until they got an unrelated domestic violence call today. The suspect now facing multiple charges, including unlawfully holding or move a dead human body in unapproved conditions. And tonight, police are pleading for help to find Bristi.
If your sister could hear from you right now, what would you want her to know?
Just be safe and contact us. We just want you to come back safe and sound.
Okay, Jesse Kirsch joins us tonight. Jesse, this is a very dark story, the way things have turned out here. Do we have any sense of where police are focusing their search for Bristy. We know that they were searching. It looked like a canal there in Tampa.
Well, we know, Tom, as you pointed out, that there's at least one area that divers have been going through. Authorities have made clear that Bristy was not a roommate, is not a roommate of these other two individuals, so she lives somewhere else. We also know the last known location police have shared of hers was a campus building, so those are some of the potential options you can imagine that police might be looking at. But bottom line, and you heard it there in the piece from authorities, they are asking the public for help if they've seen something, because at this point it appears that she is nowhere to be found, Tom.
Okay, Jesse Kirsch, who stayed on top of the story all week for us. Jesse, we thank you. When we come back in a moment, the new lawsuit against a major airline accusing it of using your data to make plane tickets more expensive, what flyers need to know. Plus, could one city in Texas soon run out of water? The looming crisis tonight. And the future of AI in Hollywood, the drama school ready to embrace the new tech. We'll explain why. You got to stay with us. Welcome back. Corpus Christi, Texas, a city in the United States, is on the brink of an unprecedented water crisis. City officials warning water supplies could soon dip below daily demand. Could it be the first American city that runs out of water? Our Maggie Vespa investigates.
Tonight, a water crisis mounting in Corpus Christi, Texas, where drone video shows docks once surrounded by water, now sitting on dry land.
This is unprecedented territory.
Droughts have been crippling this area for years. Now, local officials are warning the city's reservoirs are on track to run dry by next year. This week, revealing plans to potentially declare a water emergency that as soon as September would force all local residents and businesses to cut usage by 25%, limiting the average household to 5,200 gallons of water per month. One study shows the average American household uses 9,000 to 12,000 gallons monthly. Close to 500,000 local homeowners now fearing the surcharges that could come with going over.
People take daily showers. I do, so I would have to cut back on showers.
All while big questions loom about the area's largest water consumers, 20 major industrial facilities who officials say consume more than half of Corpus Christi's water. The top user, according to the city manager, ExxonMobil.
They used about 13 million gallons a day of water.
In a statement, a spokesperson for ExxonMobil said in part the company continuously recycles water, is looking for additional ways to reduce its water use, and that the site is also exploring alternative water sources.
Are you confident that those largest industrial customers will comply?
We are confident. We know all of them and their lead, either plant managers or area managers well. Some of them will have to reduce the production of fuels or product.
But the city manager also says many of these companies are critical to the local economy.
That's why we've been so closely working on this and not declaring a level 1 water emergency before it's really necessary, because we don't want to wreck our economy. We don't want to have operations closed down.
To those who say, listen, this sounds pretty dire, and shouldn't we be acting faster? What do you say?
Yeah, so I say that we have been working on this for several years now. It is a race against time, but nobody's ever lived through a drought this severe.
Yeah, this is so wild. Maggie Vespa joins us tonight from Chicago. So, Maggie, how confident are these officials that they can keep the city from running out of water?
So, Tom, at least in the short term, they say they are confident. They do note they need to save 15 million gallons of water per day to avoid that fate. And they really need those large industrial companies to comply. And kind of to that end, I asked that city manager who you saw in the piece, I said, you know, you say you talk to these companies, you know them, you trust them, but what if hypothetically one or multiple don't comply and they use too much water? And he said, listen, we will be monitoring that. If that happens, we will talk to them. We'll negotiate with them. And he said, listen, if all else fails, and again, hypothetical, we are not above turning off their access to water. He said that's how dire this is, Tom.
So wild. Okay, Maggie Vespa first. Maggie, thanks for covering that one for us. Still to come on Top Story, stranded at the bottom of Everest, why hundreds of climbers are stuck at the base camp. Plus, Fernando Mendoza, remember that name, picked first overall in the NFL draft, the special moment he shared with his family. But first, Top Story. We're back now with the story frequent flyers will want to hear. In a new lawsuit, JetBlue is accused of using customers' personal data and browsing history to set ticket prices. One of the people this allegedly happened to posted on X that he saw a $230 increase on a ticket after one day. JetBlue responded in a since-deleted post trying to clear in your cache and your cookies or booking with an incognito window. The company in a statement says the reply was simply a mistake from an individual customer service crew member. Let's bring in NBC News legal analyst Danny Savalas. Danny, explain to our viewers what the alleged illegal action is here.
I'll say it was a mistake, Tom, but the action here is not about challenging traditional market forces like supply and demand. If you want to fly to Florida in February or you want to go to some vacation spot, you're going to pay more. If you want to fly to Phoenix in the middle of July, you'll probably pay less. Supply and demand are not being attacked here. Instead, the causes of action here are essentially wiretapping and consumer protection based on a concept called surveillance pricing. And this has long been suspected. I've been hearing about this for years. I'm sure you have too. The idea that they are using our browser information, our personal data to set prices based on who you are, not based on what you want. And the idea for consumers should be that everybody pays the same price for the same seat. Now, you may pay more because of the timing or you book at the last minute, but the idea of the complaint is that surveillance pricing violates these laws.
Do you think there's a strong case here? And do you think other airlines are possibly doing this?
Well, you showed what I think is the smoking gun, Tom, right there before that tweet that has since been deleted. And of course, JetBlue said it was a mistake. It certainly was a mistake. That's the kind of thing that can come back to bite you in a lawsuit. And I expect that you're going to see that's not the end of that image. In fact, in the complaint, it's featured twice. So they know, the plaintiffs know, that's some powerful evidence. And if this ever gets to a jury is not going to look too kindly on JetBlue when they see that tweet.
Danny Savalas, we thank you for this. I have a feeling this might not be the end of this story, so we'll bring you back if we hear about it again. We thank you for that, Danny. Now to Top Stories newsfeed. We start with the first court appearance for a U.S. Special Forces soldier arrested for betting on a prediction market about the capture of Nicolas Maduro. His name, Gannon Ken Van Dyke. Authorities say he participated in the raid to remove Maduro from office and allegedly used classified information to make more than $400,000 from his bets. Van Dyke was released on bond, is due back in court on Tuesday. In Texas, the State Department of Health says Camp Mystic must make major changes in order to reopen this summer. 25 campers and 2 counselors died there last year in devastating floods. Officials say changes include issues like emergency and parent notification plans to, quote, meet full compliance. The camp now 45 days to make corrections and resubmit plans. It has that many days. In a statement, Camp Mystic said they're working to address the areas outlined. And a major recall we want to tell you about, we're learning, impacting heated socks sold at Costco after more than a dozen people reported being seriously burned. The socks come with a rechargeable battery pack, and federal regulators say they can heat up and cause injuries too hot when worn during high-intensity activities. Okay. More than 200,000 pairs have been sold. The recall urges people to stop using the socks immediately and return them to Costco for a full refund. All right, now to an interesting conversation, the debate over the future of AI in Hollywood. Tonight, one of the world's top university programs for acting, an industry that has long rejected artificial intelligence, is going against the grain and embracing the technology. USC School of Dramatic Arts launching a new AI Institute for actors. The announcement comes as 2 A-list actresses have faced criticism for speaking in support of AI. Sandra Bullock urging caution, but saying Hollywood needs to lean into the tech. Take a listen.
We have to understand it. We have to lean into it. We have to use it in a really constructive and creative way, make it our friend.
And Reese Witherspoon posting that she's committed to learning more about AI. So what's wrong with that?
I think it's time to learn about AI. I think we should learn the basics together and learn some really good tools that are going to make our everyday lives easier and better.
Tackling AI with a smoothie like that. All right. Comment sections under both videos peppered with concerns about AI's ability to take jobs from actors. Some users even speculating that the actresses are being paid to promote the technology, which Reese denied. A reminder that just about a year ago, more than 400 actors, writers, and musicians, including the greats, people like Ben Stiller, Paul Simon, Cynthia Erivo, signed an open letter stressing the importance of copyright restrictions for AI. At the time, there were very few, if any, stars coming out in support of AI. So are we now at a turning point where Hollywood is warming up to this idea? Joining me tonight to discuss is the Dean of USC's School of Dramatic Arts, Emily Roxworthy. Dean, thank you so much. We appreciate you coming on. This is so interesting to us because we cover AI a lot here. Walk us through exactly how you envision AI helping your students. You've mentioned it could be used as a scene partner so students can work with some of the greats. Explain how this works.
So we're excited to be launching a new research institute at the USC School of Dramatic Arts, which is focused on exactly this intersection between human creativity and emerging technologies like AI that are rapidly transforming our industry. So it's really about empowering actors and creators to engage with these tools critically, which is what we do in higher education anyway. If we do nothing else, we disseminate knowledge and we promote critical thinking. And the idea is to empower them through education while also elevating the distinctive human qualities that up to this point we've seen exploited by AI, but are going to be increasingly important as automation increases in our society.
Sounds great. What do you mean by that?
Absolutely. So when we look at AI in terms of the dramatic arts, there's really applications in terms of creativity, but also in terms of the business. So as a drama school located in Los Angeles, of course, we're focused on teaching the craft of acting, but we also think it's our ethical responsibility, especially as industry transforms, to keep students abreast of what the industry looks like. So part of it is learning how to position yourself as an aspiring actor as the industry transforms, but also there's really helpful applications on the business side. So for instance, young actors are often not of interest to agents and managers. They're just too green for that. But using agentic AI, there is a possibility of developing a personal talent agent that's at your disposal 24/7.
Wait, so go back. You lose CAA, you lose UTA, and you get an AI agent?
So CAA and UTA, and we have wonderful partners at both agencies, are not necessarily equipped to represent young talent. And as they're emerging, this can be something that can empower them. And that's really the name of the game, because actors to this point have not been at the right end of these changes. And that's why I think you see the backlash to legitimate things that Sandra and Reese are saying about the need for education.
All right, so you have an AI agent. Pretty good. Are we talking scene partners here? Like, I mean, could you do a scene with I don't know, Marlon Brando? Can you do Streetcar with him?
So we have a lot of concern about things like bringing Marlon back from the dead to be a scene partner. I think the idea is more that the way that auditions, for instance, have transformed with self-tape. There's a lot of value to having a reader across from you that you don't have to find a friend to read with you. So that's sort of more of what we're thinking. And it's a delicate balance because we need to teach our students also to be ethical. And a lot of what's happening in AI right now isn't ethical.
Yeah, I know that, you know, actors have to sort of search for monologues when they audition, find certain scenes. Do AI, ChatGPT, do those AI search tools, can they narrow things down to make it better for an actor? Say this would be a better material for you?
Absolutely. I mean, that's the idea of agentic AI in terms of being a personal agent, that they would know you. That's one of the things that AI is sort of creepily good at, right? Knowing exactly who you are and what your talents can apply to. So that absolutely could be used to source material that would position you in an effective way for a self-tape in terms of choosing material.
So let's get to the drama in this scene right here that's happening, Dean. What do you say to critics who say these students will be training AI to essentially take their jobs?
So without actors and creatives being at the table, we can guarantee that that's going to happen. Really, this is about flipping the script. If we put creative people into the conversation, and that's in fact the name of the conversation series that the Adobe Foundation is sponsoring for us, is called Creativity in Control. If we're not at the table, then yes, we can guarantee that we're going to be replaced as actors. But young people are already using this technology. They're using it in isolation. So part of the idea of the Institute is to create a space to gather, a space to collaborate, which is what we've always been doing in the dramatic arts anyway, to take these conversations out of the polarized space that they've found themselves in, where everyone is very atomized, and put young people in a sort of think tank environment where they can be in control of how it develops.
So, Dean, you mentioned Adobe. Is your school taking money from tech companies to embrace this technology?
So the Adobe Foundation is Adobe's philanthropic arm that is really in alignment with Adobe's mission, which is aligned with our mission as well, which is about empowering creatives using technology. Again, that hasn't been the conversation up until now. It's been, here's the technology, here's how it's rapidly transforming things, like it or not, now adapt. Now, if instead we're at the table and empowered through the technology, it's going to be a really different conversation.
What did you think about the Val Kilmer movie that just came, or the trailer that just came, I should say, because no one's seen the film yet, but where he's completely AI? What did you think of that?
I don't think any of us think that it's high quality art. I think that there are exciting ways that the technology can be used, for instance, for aging and de-aging, that I think a lot of actors are in agreement with. But it's a real gray zone. I mean, when the estate of a deceased actor is on board with using their likeness in this way, we're in uncharted territory. And this is, again, where academia comes in. We should study these things. We should have a point of view that we're putting out into the world for some leadership around these issues, rather than it just sort of unfolding the way it is right now.
Has your school done any exploration or experimentation, I should say, with the AI tools and writing screenplays and writing scenes, and what happens when you put ideas into, say, like a Gemini or something else, a Claude? Does it spit out, you know, stuff that's like David Mamet, that stuff that's like William Shakespeare, or is it not there yet?
I think it's very good at mimicking things that already exist. And the direction that the industry has been going in is really about voices that haven't been heard before, perspectives that are unique. So what we really see AI doing is sort of creating more of the same, which I don't think is really the direction that Hollywood has been going in, or Broadway has been going in this whole time. So it hasn't been of much value in that way. And in fact, I think when it's discovered that writers, for instance, are using AI to do that, it's really compromising the art form. So I'm not sure that that's what we're particularly interested in exploring. 5-10
years from now, are we still going to be seeing humans in movies?
I believe so. I think that we just have to stay really at the cutting edge of how things are transforming and be really realistic with our students about that. But I think that the human voice, the human presence, all the things, and I think you had an experience studying the dramatic arts yourself in your college time, so you're really aware of the emotional intelligence, the adaptability intelligence that the dramatic artists bring, and that's only going to become more important. And I think live theater, for instance, is going to see a renaissance. People are going to want things that are authentic, that are live right in front of them. And I think actors are going to be busier than ever before, as long as we empower them with education.
It's a great thought. I agree with you. We're not seeing it quite yet on Broadway, but I think it's going to come back around because live events everywhere else are really exploding. Dean, we're going to say, and scene. Thank you. Dean Roxworthy, thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yep. Okay, we're going to take a turn now to Top Stories Global Watch and check out what else is happening around the world. We're going to start in Gaza. Palestinians are set to hold their first local elections this weekend since 2006. A number of pro-Hamas candidates are running, with the election seen as a test of the militant group's popularity. But some analysts say the vote is mostly symbolic because President Trump's so-called Board of Peace is still pushing its own plan for Gaza's future. In Nepal, hundreds of climbers are stuck at the base camp of Mount Everest. That's because of a massive chunk of ice blocking the trail. Officials say it's too dangerous to get around and that the risk of an avalanche is too high. All the climbers can do now is wait for the ice to melt to a safe level before they can try to scale the world's highest peak. And in Canada, Missy the husky couldn't go to her favorite doggy daycare because of a vet appointment, so she took matters into her own paws. She busted out of her home, digging under a gate and walking all the way to the daycare all on her own. Her owner told local media she seemed to memorize the route they take most days. Here you can see Missy after she got inside the shop. Staffers think she escaped because she wanted to play with her biggest friend. His name is Shaggy. All right, coming up, our weekly series, Great Americans, where we sit down with the heroes who inspire us while doing so much for our great nation. Tonight, one of the most legendary stars in tennis history who broke barriers on and off the court, Billie Jean King, one-on-one. Our great conversation right after this. We are back now with our new series, Great Americans, as we get ready to celebrate 250 years of this great nation. Tonight, she's a great American on and off the court. Billie Jean King, the 39-time Grand Slam winner and pioneer in women's sports. She reflects on her quest for inclusivity and lasting equality and shares with me her wish for her country on its 250th anniversary. What do you love about America?
What do I love? Something about us is the land of opportunity.
For American legend Billie Jean King, that opportunity had to be fought for. Growing up, tennis wasn't even on her radar. So I'm going to do something.
Oh, wow.
So I'm starting with a different type of ball.
Go ahead.
So Billie Jean, the reason why I toss that ball to you, because I want you to take me back.
I'm 5 years older than my brother, so I think that helps people to understand. But he and I did everything together. We played American football, we played baseball.
King grew up in a middle-class family, a self-described public park kid from Long Beach, California.
I was about 9 years old, and my heart sank because I realized for the first time, because of my gender, because I'm a girl, I'll never be able to play baseball.
But 9 years old, at that age you knew it.
Oh, I knew.
It hit you.
It hit me. I was so upset. I was really quiet, so my mother knew something was wrong. It just hurt so badly.
In 5th grade, a friend took her to a country club and introduced her to tennis.
She looks at me and goes, "Do you want to play tennis?" I go, "What's tennis? You've never heard of it?" "No." "What do? You get to run, jump, and hit a ball." "Yes, I love that." So she takes me to her country club, and I'm thinking as we go into the country, this isn't happening. I'll play today, but my dad's a firefighter and my mom's a homemaker. I'm going, no way we can afford to play tennis.
But she loved it so much, she saved up.
$8.29 in a mason jar up in the cupboard, and I go, "Mommy, Daddy, I've got to get a racket now." I slept with that racket. I loved it. I take care of it.
And then the man tennis was an exclusive, white, male-dominated sport at the time.
I promised myself, if I could ever be #1 in the world, which I already wanted to be, that I hopefully could make this world a better place.
Mrs. Billie Jean King of America, the new queen of tennis.
King winning 39 Grand Slam titles, 20 at Wimbledon, and claiming a host of firsts, forming the Women's Tennis Association and fighting to get equal pay for women at the U.S. Open.
Whatever will help the future, that's what I'll do.
But she often was ridiculed.
We are the best players in the world, and we're called amateurs. I said, this has got to go.
Were people telling you, hey, Billie Jean, just hit the ball. Just hit the ball. We don't want to hear all this.
Be quiet. You're a girl. Be quiet. Don't rock the boat. Just be happy that you have this opportunity. And of course, I'm thinking, it's not the road I'm going to take.
She rocked the boat in 1973.
I like the idea that I'm playing for someone else besides myself.
Accepting a challenge against Bobby Riggs to a 3-set match dubbed Battle of the Sexes.
The Sexes, Billie Jean King versus Bobby Riggs. Look at that crowd.
90 million people would tune in as 29-year-old King beat 55-year-old Riggs in straight sets. So you win, you guys are talking, and he tells you what?
I underestimated you. This is before we're even leaving the court. We've got our arms around each other. And he said, I underestimated you.
How she approached her matches became her approach to life.
It's one ball at a time, staying in the process.
But why is life like that?
If you don't stay in the present or the now, it doesn't work.
Pressure, King has often said, is a privilege. That mantra becoming symbolic of her work on and off the court, from equality to gay rights. Do you compare your sort of 3 different roles in your life where, you know, you fought for women, you fought for women's sports, incredible tennis player, and then also someone who, you know, was an advocate for LGBTQ rights. Do you kind of look back at your life and say, this was my greatest accomplishment? Do you ever think about that?
Oh, no. I'm still
going?
There might be a better one in the future. I don't know, because I'm still working full time. I love it. I love people.
When you see the American flag, what do you think?
Oh, my God. I think about my parents. My dad would always cry. He was in the Navy. My mother would cry.
Why?
I don't know. It's us. It's the home of the, you know, brave.
What do you think that little girl would have said if you would have told her, you can't even play baseball, but you're going to grow up and you're going to be a part owner of the Los Angeles Dodgers.
I would not have believed you.
King's wish today to build upon a more inclusive America.
Every time I talk to somebody that's just gotten here, I go, why'd you come here? Every time it's just about the same answer. I wanted to make a better life for my family. So something about us is the land of opportunity. And I want us to keep it that way.
All right, that does it for us. Thanks so much for watching Top Story. I'm Tom Llamas in New York. Stay right there. More news on the way. We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.